The Teutonic Order had its roots in the Crusades in the Holy Land. But now their mission was to Christianize the pagans of Eastern Europe, or die trying. Most of the time, though, it was pagans who died. After over 100 years in the region, the sincerity of the Knights' original mission had been nearly forgotten. These so-called Crusaders were now playing for land and power and calling it God's will. That is why they allied with Vytautas. He promised them the lands of Samogitia, home to some of the last pagans in Europe. But when Vytautas made peace with us and refused to cede the region to the Order, they were outraged. The Knights now lay siege to the Lithuanian town of Vilnius, and Jogaila and Vytautas hurried to the rescue. It was to be the first time that they fought side by side.
Pull back, men! Let us eat and rest. While the Lithuanians put out their fires.
It seems that we arrived just in time. We must defeat the Crusaders before they destroy the castles in the city, or Vilnius will be lost.
I see a part of their army by the gate just ahead of us. Let us crush these little rats first!
Do waszych ust. Owszem, pojmuję was. Atakujmy! Tak, panie, do broni!
My eyes do not deceive me.
Tak.
Help has finally come! Praise the gods!
Tak, panie. Pojmuję was.
I
Dobrze,
mean,
tak uczynię.
praise God, of course. Apologies, it is hard for an old man to keep up with all the latest religious trends. We are barely holding on, Your Highness. But with your army, we could turn the tide. Please, take these workers and help us end the siege.
I shall set up camp to the east of you, cousin.
Jakieś
Call
rozkazania?
upon me when you are ready to attack the Crusader scum.
Tak, pojmuję was. Dobrze, tak uczynię.
Witajcie.
Rozkazania? Sprawiacz. Gotów jestem. Tak. Sprawiacz.
Tak, naprawiam. Witaj. Zbieram. Natychmiast naprawiam.
Sprawiacz. Sprawiacz.
The
Rozkazania?
Teutons are mounting another assault! Defend the walls!
Owszem, tak, panie. Dobrze, tak, uczynię. Dobrze, tak uczynię. Tak, panie. Atakujmy! Naprzód! Dobrze,
Gotów
tak
jestem.
uczynię.
Natychmiast wykonam. Tak. Natychmiast wykonam. Natychmiast wykonam. Pojmuję. Gotowa jest.
Naprawiam.
Rozkazania. Naprawiam.
Witajcie. Naprawiam.
Jestem sprawiaczką. Rozkazania. Naprawiam.
Rozkazania? Tak też uczynię.
Gotowa Natychmiast wykonam. Jestem sprawiaczką. Rozkazania. Jestem sprawiaczką. Witajcie. Rozkazania.
Do waszych ust.
Dobrze,
Tak
you
uczynię.
fight bravely, Jogaila. But you cannot
panie.
hold these battered
Pojmuję
walls
was.
forever.
Owszem, dobrze, tak uczynię. Tak?
Sprawiacz.
Night will soon
Gotowa
be
jest.
upon us. We should
Jestem
use the
sprawiaczką.
darkness to our advantage and raid the Teutons while their main army is sleeping.
Gotów jestem. Witajcie. Rozkazania? Natychmiast wykonam. Natychmiast wykonam.
Teutons get their supplies by carts during the night.
Natychmiast wykonam.
Do waszych ust.
We could break the Crusaders' fighting spirit.
Your Highness,
Rozkazania. Naprawiam.
I have heard of a Teutonic deserter who has taken up residence in the eastern part of the city. Apparently, he knows when and where the Order brings supplies into its camp.
Jakieś rozkazania?
Perhaps you should pay him a visit.
Witajcie.
Sprawiacz.
Your
Sprawiacz.
Majesty, I can give you
Gotowa
complete knowledge of the Order's supply lines, but only for a favor. I fled here to begin a new life, but my wife, Gisela, never made it to the city. Bring her to me, Your Majesty, and I will tell you everything that I know.
Another beautiful day to lop off pagan
Rozkazania?
heads.
Run while you can, you bloody cowards!
Sprawiacz.
Come with us, my dear Gisela. We will escort you to your husband in Vilnius.
Gisela? It really is you! I can never thank you enough, Your Majesty. Here is the route of the Order supply lines, as promised.
Tak. Naprawiam.
The Crusaders stole our holy relic. If you bring it back to us, we will reveal the location of a hidden treasure.
We have captured the Teutonic supply cart. Now these supplies will feed our forces and not the Crusaders.
Natychmiast się tym zajmę. Przykazania, panie. W imię Boga. Tak.
That is the last of the supply carts. Now the Crusaders will have to fight on empty stomachs. We have crushed the Teutonic flank and exposed their supply lines. I would not be surprised if they double the guard on their supply carts.
You leave us no
Natychmiast
choice.
się tym
We
zajmę.
have but 1 day's rations left, so we will take Vilnius before darkness falls, whatever the cost.
The rest of our army has arrived. Quick! Send these men to the front lines. Vilnius must be saved.
We are forever grateful, my queen. Now, for the treasure we promised. Do you see that something glitters in the bushes here? No? Look closer.
So the monks will make us work for
Jestem
our reward.
sprawiaczką.
Ah well, bring up some peasants. They love this sort of thing, do they not?
You have bested us, jogaila. Take Vilnius. Take all of Samogitia. But mark my words, we will be back.
On that day, the combined forces of Poland and Lithuania drove the Teutons back to their Prussian domains. But more importantly than the victory in the field was the fact that the alliance between Jogaila and Vytautas, the former rivals, had held fast. Those imposing men eyed each other after the battle, never exchanging a word. And I believe, realizing at last that they could accomplish things together that neither could do on their own. Though a man might prevail against one who is alone, two will withstand him. A threefold cord is not quickly broken. So says the preacher. June the 18th, 1399. A gift arrived for me today. A silver cradle. For the mother of 2 kingdoms. Courtesy of Vytautas. I could not help but laugh as it was carried into the room. Such a work of beauty. For a man who appreciates nothing but war and power, wine and women. Vytautas. I am not sure he ever gave up on his dream of being sole ruler of Lithuania. He certainly never acts like he is Jogaila's subordinate. For the past few years, Jogaila has been rebuilding our war-torn kingdoms, while I have worked to prevent further conflicts from breaking out. All the while, Vytautas has gone on the offensive. He has now gone off to conquer Tatar Ruthenia, where he has befriended a deposed Khan, one Toktamish. Together, he claims, they are going to conquer their way to the Black Sea.
The lands of Tatar Ruthenia are ripe for conquest. Let us ride south and capture as many towns as we can. And, of course, reinstate you to your throne, Toktamish. I do overlook the details sometimes.
Thank you for freeing us from the Tatars. We will help you in the fight against the Horde.
To raid and pillage is good for a man's health. But we will both need bases of operations to win this war. I shall make camp to the west. Give me your signal when you are ready to attack.
So, the deposed Toktamish Khan returns as a pawn of our old enemies. What a disgrace.
Thank you for freeing us from the Tatars. We will help you in the fight against the Horde. We were doubtful of you at first, but you have proven beyond a doubt that we are better off under your rule. From this day forth, we fight for Lord Vytautas.
The Christians of Ruthenia have long lived under the Tatar yoke. If you construct monasteries in the towns that lack places of worship, I am sure that the Polish nobility will deem it prudent to aid you in your holy quest.
All of Tatar Ruthenia will soon be mine! But I wonder, why stop here? With the Pope's support, I shall call a crusade against the Tatars and drive them back to Asia!
I hope that you do not refer to me. I am Mongol, not Tatar. Big difference.
Aš pasiruošusi. Ką įsakysi? Klausau. Ką įsakysi?
You are doing well, Vytautas. All throughout court there is gossip about your pious actions. God has certainly blessed you, Vytautas. I hear that even the Pope is impressed with what you have accomplished for the Ruthenians.
Supratau. Klausau, viešpatie. Eimi.
Alas! I must retire for a while. A stray arrow pierced my side and threw me from my horse! Send word when you have retaken my throne for me, Vytautas.
You must be proud to have taken so much land from us while we were busy elsewhere, Lithuania. Now, enough child's play. Meet me in the field by the Voskla River. I will give you 3 days to prepare your forces.
Every last man that we can find. Let us crush these Tatars once and for all!
My men will ride with you to battle.
My nobles are eager to fight for you, Vytautas. But I grow concerned. Is Ruthenia not enough? Must you conquer all of Asia to satisfy your vanity?
We shall ride with you to victory, Lord Vytautas.
The time has come! Let us crush the Golden Horde once and for all! The Tartars flee the battlefield! After them, men! Slaughter them and scatter them to the wind! For Lithuania!
You should have attacked 3 days ago, Vytautas, before Jadwiga's second army arrived. Instead, you walked right into our trap. Turn around, men! Slaughter them! Leave none alive!
My army obliterated! Those blasted Tartars lured me into a position where they could surround me! A brilliant tactic, but not one you want to be on the receiving end of. I wonder...
June the 22nd, 1399. I have received no news of Vytautas' escapades in Ruthenia for some days now. I pray that he is successful. And yet, I fear that his insatiable hunger for power will be the downfall of everything I have striven for. But for now, I must not worry about Vytautas. I have more pressing worries. And my mind is racing with fear and anticipation. My body swells and aches and changes. To walk is exhausting, and to lie down is no relief. For days I have written in this journal to keep my mind occupied, but now I can barely even do that. Any day now, I will give birth to my first child, Jogaila's firstborn. The heir of 2 kingdoms, whose union I have worked so hard to foster. I look out of the window, breathing the crisp morning air. Kraków is beautiful in its thin dress of mist and sunlight. The Vistula glitters. Birds sing their praises to God, from trees and bushes and tufts of grass. And for just a short moment, it seems as though every thread in the fabric of reality is made of gold, glowing and glittering like never before. Any day now.
June the 3rd, 1410. It has been years since I last entered this room. I always expect her to be lying there, with our daughter on her breast, in that bed now covered with dust. Smiling, glowing the way only they can who know in their bones that their days on earth are numbered. My Jadwiga. Her heart was broken one time too many after our daughter died, only 4 days old. Jadwiga was sick with grief, and with a fever that would not pass. But despite it all, she held true to her duty through that youthful twilight. She told me to marry again, to marry a granddaughter of the legendary Polish king Casimir the Great. This, she said, would strengthen my claim to Poland's throne once she was gone, and prevent another civil war. I had broken her heart when I took her from Prince William. I had broken it again when the child I gave her died in her arms. To obey this desire was the least I could do. She died just 2 weeks after our daughter. Much has changed since then. Poland and Lithuania have grown stronger together. Now, the time has come for us to not only survive, but to conquer our old enemies. We are at war again with the Teutonic Order. But we no longer cower from their discipline and military prowess. We strive to match it. We march now on Marienburg, the Teutonic capital. Once the dust settles on the ruins of that fortress, the union of Poland and Lithuania, the wedding ring of Jadwiga, will stand stronger than ever before. Our forces are tied up in sieges throughout Prussia. We must secure these lands and hire as many mercenaries as possible before we face the Teutons.
Tak. Jestem sprawiaczką. Jestem sprawiaczką. Jestem sprawiaczką. Jestem sprawiaczką. Jestem sprawiaczką.
Witajcie.
Let us ravage these lands. I have been itching for a fight for months.
You already know the loyalty of my family. My father Tokhtamish fought many wars by Vytautas' side. For a modest price, my men and I will be your fiercest warriors.
I can see the banners of the Lizard Union among the enemy ranks. These knights have always had connections to Poland. If we can reach their leader, we may be able to convince him to stand his forces down.
My men and I have come from Bohemia to fight for you, Your Highness, should you desire our services. We will be yours to command for a fair price.
A terrible tragedy has struck our homeland, Your Highness. And that tragedy is peace! We are entirely out of work! But we would be happy to offer a discount if you would care to hire us.
This is an unjust war. The pagans that we once fought have become our fellow Christians. With that, we have lost our casus belli. My men and I will not take up arms against you.
Prussia is under our control. Let us march on the Teutonic capital.
Jogaila, my scouts inform me that the Teutons have camped near the village of Grunwald, right on the road to Marienburg.
So, they want to force a battle before we reach their capital. Very well. Our ranks are filled and morale is high. We will meet the order in the field.
The pagan king has decided to face us at last. I was starting to think that you had fled back to Poland.
Form ranks, men! I shall take the right flank with my Lithuanian forces. I have a plan that I want to try out.
My lord, 2 riders are approaching from the Teutonic camp.
Our Grand Master sends these 2 swords to you, King Jogaila. He says that they will prove useful, if you ever muster the courage to face him in the field.
Tell your master that he has waited long enough. I will return these swords to him, lodged in 2 of his commanders.
The time has come! Charge, men! For God and Poland!
Jakieś rozkazania? Tak uczynię. Tak, panie. Do waszych Pojmuję was. Do broni! Atakujmy!
The Teutons are sending another wave towards us!
Pull back, men! Let us feign a retreat to lure the Teutons out of formation. And then turn and charge them when they are vulnerable!
The Lithuanians are fleeing the battle. Run them down!
Jakieś rozkazania?
My plan worked. Return to the battlefield and charge once more into the Crusader lines!
Should have prevailed by now. But we shall turn the tide with one final valiant push. Ride, my knights! Ride with me into the fray!
The Grand Master has fallen!
Tak, panie. Do broni! Naprzód! Dobrze, tak uczynię. Atakujmy! Do broni! Dobrze, tak uczynię. Atakujmy! Owszem.
The Teutonic Order is retreating! And nearly all of their knights lie slain!
Tak, panie.
We have claimed a magnificent victory today, men.
Pojmuję was. Do waszych usług. Jakieś rozkazania?
We were never able to take the fortress of Marienburg. But in the end, it did not matter. The Teutons were crushed. Their masters lay slain on the fields of Grunwald, and the Order would never truly recover. We held a wild celebration. Vytautas was more drunk with pride, joy, and wine than anyone else after that Tatar maneuver that helped win the battle. After a few hours, I could no longer stand the heat of that great tent. The shouting and the music and the laughter of so many victorious men. I slipped out into the darkness, down to a small stream near our camp. I sat there in silence, giving thanks to God for our victory, and listening to the murmur of the stream and the cold evening wind. I could not help but think of her then, my Jadwiga, who made all this possible. I lost you too soon, and Poland lost its brightest star. But now, at last, I know that your dream will live on, where you could not. I could hear a bell tolling then. A friar, somewhere in the distance, hailing the arrival of the night with that deep, resounding music. It has been a long time since I noticed such things. The little things of beauty that season our days of war and toil, and make them almost palatable.